the genesis I see of everything that went wrong offensively tonight was the first few minutes of this game, and I've noticed this now a few times throughout these first few games, is Marcus Smart is starting these games off on the ball, and we talked about him all off season. Does he deserve to move up to 37? Is he ready to step into the third position on this team? And it's not a good film so far for him. Some of the turnovers with him have been mindless. The first one in the Philadelphia game and the first one tonight were equally just like, what are you doing? Spinning around the perimeter and just throwing the ball to nowhere. Transition, he's getting picked off. This is a phenomenal passer and a usually good decision maker who's taking risks that are, I guess, preseason reaches maybe, but they're more concerning than that. And yeah, it's definitely a bit of laziness in his decision making. And this is your most reliable ball handler. He's the starter. He's starting these games off on the ball. And we look at the wings, the way they run the pick and roll and everything else. They're not ready to man the amount of ball time. So when we look at the ball time on the team about a month in, Smart's going to be number one by far. And how he does with that's going to dictate pretty much the whole offense.
This didn't mean much in the grand scheme, but you were just talking about Marcus Smart's decision making. What was that pass at the end of the second quarter? There was four.
The transition one?
Yeah.
No. From the baseline. From the baseline. When he threw like a Hail Mary pass into like four defenders. It's like, dude, there's 4.5 seconds left. Just inbound the ball and get down the court. You didn't have to throw it. It was an immediate turnover. Luckily, the Nets turned it over at the same time right after that. But I mean, it's just another example of like what's going through your mind right now. I have a crazy thought that I'm not going to bring up yet, but it may fix all the Celtics' offensive issues.
Looking forward to it, man.
It's not Joe Sway level.
Start doing the calculations.
It's not Carson Edwards, but it's close.
It's not the last card.
Is it Emil Jefferson?
It's too early for the last card. It's preseason. Come on.
Sean, you telling me to hold on?
No, go ahead. I want you to do it. I was doing the Joe Sway calculations thing.
Listen, Isaiah Thomas is still out there, folks. Isaiah Thomas is still out there as a free agent. And I'm just saying, if you need some offensive boost and you want Marcus Smart coming off the bench more, or you want some offense off the bench, it might be worth an NBA version of a tryout to see what he can offer you. I mean, he's obviously familiar with the organization. The fans love him. Not that matters that much, but I mean, is he that beyond repair that a team that may actually need some offensive help? It's just out of the question. You can't even bring it up. Like, is it that crazy?
Well, they don't have a roster spot. That's the thing.
Don't tell me they don't have a roster spot. Look at this roster. They have 12 roster spots.
I'll tell you this. I don't think Danny should get on the phone tomorrow, but I think if the Kemba Walker, once he's
that's what I'm saying.
Reevaluate him in January. If we're talking about another 3-week setback, why not? Why not give the guy a tryout? You know, they
know more about Kemba's eventual return than we do. So maybe if he's back sooner than we all think, then maybe that's not in the cards. But if we're looking at February, March for Kemba Walker, I mean, what are we going to be watching? Mid to late January. What type of team are we going to be looking at?
Well, you got to give them that ramp-up period, and they're going to need it, apparently. Like, they're going to need the first 3 weeks here to just get in the form and just get their heads on straight. I mean, the decision-making in some of these games has been puzzling from the ball handlers. Yeah. I don't think Tatum's been that bad. I think, John makes a good point that he's not getting around the pick and roll as well as he should be and making the reads there with Rob Williams.
Everything is really deliberate with him, he's going and he's almost like, I'm Jason Tatum, like I'm going to get there. And then all of a sudden, there's a guy right there every time.
Well, what's surprising tonight, and I guess this is my one positive if I had to search for one tonight, is JAYLEN Brown actually looked decent in that role. And I started off the season saying, can this guy run a pick and roll? It hasn't been anything outstanding, but he is, getting off the screen, finding Rob Williams on the lob, and actually getting himself some points in that regard. His night wasn't too bad, I thought, tonight. 7 of 15, 16 points. Now, it's nothing outstanding. The three-point shooting wasn't there, but he's showing a little something in that area. But again, we're picking at straws here offensively. None of the units are meshing together. Daniel Tice, I thought, started this game all right with some of the starters, but then he fouls out. So everybody's just out of sorts here.
Of course he fouls out. I mean, this guy stepped foot in the court and had 3 fouls.
Yeah. Even Gordon was joking about it. He's like, 5 fouls in 12 minutes. That's right.
The war on Tice,
top
man.
to bottom, this roster isn't ready. I mean, Jeff Teague's closest. Joe Sway said it. He's providing a nice spark, 5 of 5 from 3 to start the year. So, he's giving you a little something. Maybe you mix him in with the starters and get smart off the ball. This Javonte Green thing is, I get what they were going for there, but I don't think it's going to last into the season.
I don't know. You seem to be pretty bullish on him.
I mean, he looks good, but he's not a ball handler, and that's what they need.
I bet you weren't feeling him. I bet you wanted Brad Wanamaker back in the mix.
Somebody in the comments says start Teague over Marcus.
We talked about that prior to the season. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I do too, because he's not gonna shoot you out of a game. And Marcus Smart is still very, very valuable coming off the bench. It's not trying to diminish Marcus Smart's value by any means, but maybe Marcus Smart leading that second unit is exactly what you need. It's a very weak second unit. You need a leader. You need a guy to set the tone and come in with a couple young guys and sort of run the show out there. So I don't hate that. Not that Jeff Teague can't do that, but he might be a better facilitator for the Tatum and Jaylen Brown show in that first unit. And maybe Marcus Smart makes a nice transition coming in with the bench guys. And he's still going to get 30-plus minutes a game.
Yeah. I give the starting lineup that they're running now a chance. Now, not necessarily Green, but again, where else are you going to look there on the bench for something that they need right now? And what they need is facilitation. Teague's the guy you look at there. The turnovers are low through these first 2 games. I believe he only had 1 tonight, so that's good. That was my biggest concern with him, was his high turnover rate from last season. And he looks spry. That Philadelphia game especially. He was getting into the lane. He was making a nice floater there, efficient again tonight in this one, I thought. So what are you going to do? I don't think you're mixing up lineups like crazy to start this year, although you're going to have to experiment. But, yeah, you're right. I just don't know what's going on with Smart ball handling-wise right now. I didn't expect it to look this sloppy, especially from him, a guy who had such an outstanding playoff stretch. It's only been a month and a half. So, what are you coming back looking so rusty, so out of sorts for? I guess I would understand it from a Javonte Green who had knee surgery and didn't really play in the bubble. But Smart's he just stopped playing and now he's picking up the ball again. And it looks like it's been 9 months like the Cavaliers or something.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Bobby. That's true.
Again,
Might be the hair.
Right. I guess that's the thing where it's two games, so it's going to be hard to figure out. I just think the ugliness that you're seeing with the second unit can't fix itself. After a pretty good game the first time through, Pritchard, I didn't even notice him out there. I forgot he existed.
He got thrown into some bad switches against Durant, and it was game over.
Not good. Neesmith,
Kyrie too.
When he wasn't getting kicked in the ding ding, he just looked out of sorts. He got blown past a couple times. He also got Durant on a switch on a little hesitation move there, and he went
Durant looked so good tonight.
That was gross.